Moving our bodies is essential to healthy living, but how we move differs from place to place and across cultures. My name is Hayley Bone, and I've been dancing since I was 3 years old. The more I learned about dance, the more curious I became about the power of expressive movement. On this show, we'll highlight some of the various styles of dance and movement that Nova Scotians engage with, from Highland dance to hip-hop, circus, and more. We'll also get to see how these expressive movement styles support our communities, as well as their individual emotional and physiological benefits. So come with me as I travel across Nova Scotia to explore the ways we move. After traveling all across Nova Scotia to explore the ways we move, my journey ends in Musquodoboit, one of Nova Scotia's outdoor adventure treasure troves located on the eastern shore. I'm here at the old school community gathering place to find out about how adventuring into the world of dance is helping to improve the lives of those living with Parkinson's disease. My guests this week are Elizabeth MacDonald and Karen Bradley. Elizabeth is an Irish Highland and set dancer and instructor who works for Dance Nova Scotia, and Karen is a former researcher in the field of movement therapies and founder of Dance Nova Scotia's Dance for Health Parkinson's program. Before we sat down to talk about the benefits of dance for those with Parkinson's, Elizabeth and Karen were kind enough to include me in one of their dance classes to show me just how profoundly beneficial therapeutic expressive movement is for those living with mobility issues like Parkinson's disease. Together with Doug McEwen, a board member for the Old School Community Gathering Place, who himself has been diagnosed with Parkinson's, they led me through their stories and the benefits of expressive movement therapies.
We all need to sing and dance our way through the day. We should all be in a musical all the time.
If only life were a musical.
If only.
We just did the class together,
yeah.
And you have Parkinson's. Is that true? And when were you diagnosed with Parkinson's?
About 18 months ago.
18 months ago?
Yeah.
And how has that affected you, your life?
Well, quite dramatically, actually. It's impacted my balance, movement, recently my speech. So it's restricted my ability to do what I used to do regularly without the thought.
And how long have you been participating in Dance for Health, in Karen's classes, the Dance for Health Parkinson's classes?
Well, for years I fought against it when I didn't have Parkinson's, but as soon as I was diagnosed, I jumped right in. Yeah.
What do you mean you fought against it?
I felt it wasn't necessary for me.
Right.
And I was deadly wrong.
You were wrong?
Oh,
you
yes,
feel like now that it would have benefited you even before you were diagnosed?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And me and anybody, for that matter, yeah.
Do you find that the dance class directly affects your symptoms of Parkinson's?
Most of the time, yes, yeah. I find it a calming exercise, right? And the interaction with the other participants is good for my mental health and well-being, and it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really fun. I really enjoyed it today. Yeah. Elizabeth, you're a dance instructor and an Irish set dancer.
Yes, my own background is my first dance style was Highland. And I started that when I was about 4 or 5. And my dance accreditation as an instructor comes from the Highland side. And I both competed and I taught at the competitive and the championship level. When I was 30, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and I stepped away from dance for several years. In fact, I was afraid to dance. I didn't know if I could anymore or not. And I was living in Toronto at the time, and I did come back to dance but through the social side of dance and the Irish side. I focus on the traditional, several traditional styles of dance that are less well known in North America, but very well known in Ireland. And so that would include Hayley dancing, social Hayley dancing, which is a group dance, Irish set dancing, which is a square style, a quadrille style of dance, which in Ireland is used as the dance therapy for Parkinson's, as it turns out, and as well as several styles, older styles of step dance. So I teach, from having gone from teaching a competitive level dance, mostly for teenagers at that time.
Right.
For the last 30 years, I've specialized solely in teaching adults and bringing adults to dance. In many cases, in some cases, back to dance that they started when they were younger, but coming to dance as adults in many cases where they had never had the opportunity. I enjoy helping people find their dancer that was always there.
Karen, you're a dance movement therapist and movement analyst, and you have had a career as a dance researcher. You were the head of dance and graduate studies at the University of Maryland.
Yes.
So what came first for you? Were you a dancer first and then a researcher? Or were you always interested in the research side? What drew you to that?
No, I started off in ballet,
Oh, yeah.
like most people, and did that for many years. And at university, which was in the late 60s, I began to use dance to work with kids at risk in schools.
Mm-hmm.
And this was in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the beginning of a research and practice career. I became a movement analyst. I studied dance movement therapy in the States. In probably 2013, 2014, somewhere around there, I got a grant to look at expressive movement and did a research paper with people at the University of Houston in which we looked at the nature of expressive movement and its value. So when we moved here and I retired from those positions, I was looking around to see, okay, where would my dance movement therapy and movement analysis practices be best served? And because this is an older community, mm-hmm. that's one of the populations that I started to notice had a need.
Right.
And of course, I'm aging too, and so it's become an area of interest. And I'm particularly interested in the neuroscience of neurodegeneration and how dance can impact slowing that down, perhaps even restoring some functionality. But the brain-body connections are really important.
Both Karen and Elizabeth are bringing a wealth of experience to Dance Nova Scotia's Dance for Health Parkinson's program. And it's wonderful to hear Doug's reflections on how much he gains from their classes. I'm excited to learn more. This week on The Ways We Move, I'm in Musquodoboit speaking with Karen Bradley and Elizabeth MacDonald about the therapeutic value of dance. It was so eye-opening to be part of Karen's and Elizabeth's Dance for Health Parkinson's class, and I'm interested to learn more about the physiological benefits of dance therapy.
There's science and there's observation.
Okay.
So we start the class by going around the room and we do a check-in. Mm-hmm. And I pick the theme for the class based on what I'm hearing from people. And so I thought, well, we'll start with calming down, which is fairly typical for the class. We don't always start there, but we did today. And so we did a lot of breath work. Supporting the movement with the breath is really important. And adding the movement to the breath is also really important because that's what moves the lymph around. And we spend a lot of time talking about the value of moving our lymph.
Right.
Lymph bathes our body, it cleans out our tissues, and if we don't move, it doesn't move. And so that is one of the reasons that movement is essential. And then the other part of the class that we did was we got up and we took the scarves and we moved our kinespheres, the space around us, and we let the scarves inform us about flow. Because flow of movement is something that is really very, very important and beneficial. And the reason for that is that when we fall, not if we fall, but when we fall, having a sense of flow through the body, our ability to roll, to be resilient, to shift our weight and be in charge of it, it really saves our lives. Mm-hmm. It really saves our lives. One of the reasons why I stop the class periodically and ask them to articulate the difference, what has changed, is so that they can begin to take ownership of these changes themselves. Yes, they're going to learn a lot here. Yes, they're going to connect with each other. But if you're walking down the street and you find yourself tripping or something like that, automatically you might go back to, oh yeah, I need to loosen my knees. Oh yeah, I need to breathe more. Oh yeah, I need to focus my attention in a different way. So asking people to reflect on the changes that have happened as a result of the exercises is equally important.
Mm-hmm. Because it sort of cements it in the brain a little bit to notice it out loud.
And then the third part of the class is the communal part. And that is when we got out the octoband and we got out the big river and we danced and moved together. And you will have noticed, you were part of it, you will have noticed that at the end of the first one, the octoband, the movement was in sync. Yes. We were synchronous with each other.
Yes.
And I named that our moment of collective effervescence. We need each other. We need to be with each other. We need to encourage each other and inspire each other. And when we hit that moment of collective effervescence, which I think probably happens in the Irish class too,
Absolutely.
and in all of these dance forms, when you hit that moment, everybody smiles. It's almost like it's automatic in our brains.
Is it important that this is done in this group class setting? Couldn't you sort of, dance by yourself at home?
To me, this is the only way I can do it. I have been given exercises to do at home, and
like what kind of exercises?
A movement exercise, balance exercises, and by myself, the interest really isn't there, right? And I find it difficult to do it. When I come to the class as part of the group, it already lifts my spirits, right? And to move with them, I just find it so much easier. I can move with them that I cannot move at home.
We use some really great music in class today. Does the music help with your movement as well?
The music definitely helps, yeah. Yeah, it sets a mental tone, right? And we play a lot of older music, which most of us can relate directly to.
Classics.
So it's classic music, yes, sorry. And that plus everybody participating, and I don't have to dance like them, because I sure can't, but it's just in their presence. It makes a world of difference to me.
It's clear that dance and movement therapies help alleviate some of the difficulties of living with Parkinson's disease. But there are also other health issues that people find respite from thanks to expressive movement therapy.
I credit dance with the reason that I'm in at 66, am in the shape I am today, and I have a multiple sclerosis that's barely noticeable to anyone else but myself. And when I was first diagnosed, I had a very serious case of what they call brain fog.
Okay.
And what I found was when I discovered Irish set dancing, it's a style of dance that's done in a square, you and 7 other people. And that I felt that as I was learning and doing and teaching it, I could almost feel the new neural pathways being carved, and eventually the fog lifted. Was there a direct correlation or not? I'm not sure, but there's something inside me that absolutely believes there is. And Karen, you say the science is there to say, yes, it probably is what happened.
There's biochemicals in the brain, neurotransmitters, electrical circuits, et cetera, in the brain. And so you want to keep those humming, you know, and movement is the way to do it.
So not specifically for Parkinson's or specifically for multiple sclerosis or specifically for any one thing, but just
In general.
in general.
Yep. You know, we like to say, look, you know, what I do works really, really well. Tango works, Irish dance works, West African dance works, you know. Everything works because it is social, novel, rhythmic, organizing, calming, you know, all of those things that we all need to be doing.
It's truly incredible to speak with Elizabeth and Karen about the many health benefits of dance therapies and how they're being utilized to improve people's lives right here in Nova Scotia. I feel like I just have to know more. My journey to explore the ways we move has led me at last to Musquodoboit, where I'm learning all about the value of dance therapies for people with Parkinson's disease and other mobility issues. Elizabeth MacDonald and Karen Bradley are leading the way in this field in Nova Scotia.
In about 2015, I was working with Dance Nova Scotia as a consultant, and one of the ideas that came forth out of discussions with the executive director was the value of, for many reasons, establishing a training program for dance teachers who were interested in adapting their practice for older dancers, older bodies, knowing that we are living in, you know, the most rapidly aging province in the country.
Right.
And knowing that dance is beneficial on so many levels. It's, well, obviously it's physical activity, but it's cognitive. You can't not think and dance.
Right.
You have to think in order to dance. And it's social. We started a series of workshops for dance teachers from all practices, all genres, who are interested in offering programming for older adults. And Dance for Health Parkinson's is part of that building process, and it really it's the dream come true for us. It's the culmination of these years of work. We received a grant this year from the Age-Friendly Communities Program, Department of Seniors and Long-Term Care. And with that funding, we are putting together a program where we are training core trainers, master trainers, one of whom was in the room today. And they, in turn, will train upwards of 15 individuals across the province to deliver Dance for Health Parkinson's in their communities. One of our partners is Parkinson Canada.
Okay.
Yeah,
And we're also working closely with the Parkinson Society of Nova Scotia. They have a network of contacts throughout the province, and we'll be tapping into those contacts and reaching out and we'll be doing our very best to recruit trainees so that we have representation in as much of the province as possible. So the hope is, this is a one-year program, it's a pilot program, but we hope that by training these trainers, that we will put in place a sustainable infrastructure of programming that will continue on its own.
Across the province.
After the funding has ended, that the classes will continue and grow.
Well, we could use more funding. I want to say that too. There's always a need for more funding. Nova Scotia. But I think that we're also building knowledge,
right,
and skills, and that's really important. I think we're going to be a leader in the country, and perhaps even with the United States and around the world, because we're offering it in this way, in a way that's not about me as the expert coming in and just telling you to do this, 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 and this, but to giving each other the skills that we need to do the observation, to do the selection of activities and experiences that really will help people.
After my conversation with Karen, Elizabeth, and Doug, I will never look at dance the same way again. Yes, dance is fun, but in all seriousness, it's also good for you. The Dance for Health Parkinson's program is at the forefront of these much-needed therapies in Nova Scotia, and what I learned here today has left me feeling truly inspired. I wanted to choreograph a simple piece to express the health benefits of movement and incorporated the scarf to remind myself to flow. Thank you so much for joining me on my journey to explore some of the various movement styles to be found in Nova Scotia and the ways in which they benefit us as individuals and our communities. Until next time, I'm Hayley Bone, and thanks for watching The Ways We Move.